Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Greetings to all listeners of True Buddhism. Today's Dharma talk is excerpted from the book Way Back to the Buddhist Place by the Venerable Elder Thich with the following topic: the Four Noble Concentrations. If you want to practice the concentrations of Buddhism, you should follow the below summary to practice each phase to have the result as you want. The Four Noble Concentrations. I. The first concentration. 1. Stop the speech. 2. Live correctly in accordance with the precepts of conducts. 3. Use the Pratimoksa to protect the six senses. 4. Practice the concentration of right mindfulness and clear awareness. 5. Practice the concentration of Anasrava, eliminate the ego, and practice let go, sweep away all the 5 hindrances, cut the 7 fetters, that is, to abandon desire and evilness. 6. Have little desire and be satisfied with basic material conditions. 2. The second concentration. 1. Practice the concentration of breath mindfulness. 2. The concentration to eliminate thoughts, thinking, but keep thought creation. 3. The concentration to eliminate thoughts, thinking, and eliminate thought creation. 4. Guide the mind to stop thoughts or thinking and thought creation. 5. Stop thoughts, thinking, and thought creation. 3. The third concentration. 1. Practice the concentration of breath mindfulness with skillful creation of thoughts. 2. Be aware of the breath to guide the mind, abandon the first 6 types of joys of imagination: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought of imagination, abandon joys and dwell in the state of let go. 3. Stay awake in the sleep to abandon dreams. 4. Use the guiding method to abandon 18 types of joys of imagination. 4. The fourth concentration. 1. Be aware of the concentration of breath mindfulness to skillfully create thoughts. 2. Guide the mind to stop the sound. 3. Guide the mind to stop the feelings. 4. Guide the mind to stop the breath. 5. Guide the mind to stop the operations and the breath. 6. Stop the operations and the breath. 7. Be aware of the concentration of breath mindfulness to skillfully create thoughts. Above is the theory of the 4 concentrations, and for the practice to enter the 4 noble concentrations, people need to study and practice with fundamentals from low levels to high levels. Buddhism is the moral foundation of humanity that is based on the law of cause and effect and considers human beings as its center for development. It is the truth of mankind, and as such, humanity cannot have 2 or 3 truths, but only one truth. As it is the truth, it also needs the program for study and practice, like the program for knowledge education of the ordinary society. We all know that the program for study and practice of Buddhism is divided into 8 classes called the 8 Noble Paths. The 8 Noble Paths includes 1. Class of right view, 2. Class of right thought, 3. Class of right speech, 4. Class of right action, 5. Class of right livelihood, 6. Class of right effort, 7. Class of right mindfulness, 8. Right concentration. Within the 8 classes for study and practice, 8 Noble Paths, there are 3 levels: precept, concentration, and wisdom. Therefore, in order to enter the 4 noble concentrations, one has to study from class 1 to class 8. In case a person wants to practice starting with the 4 noble concentrations, as in the above theory, the person needs someone who has fully accomplished the practice to instruct so that the person can enter the concentrations. Otherwise, without such instructor, one's practice is only for entertainment, but one can never enter the concentrations. Dear all, it is not that the Four Noble Concentrations are as difficult as you think. The Buddha has taught, with the mind which is concentrated and fully aware, pliable and easy to use, the entering of the four concentrations is not difficult, not tiring. From our first-hand experience, the precepts must be strictly kept. To strictly keep the precepts, people need to practice the four right efforts, the four places of mindfulness. Within the four right efforts, there are methods that need to be practiced, that is, the concentration of breath mindfulness, the concentration of Anasrava, the concentration of clear-sightedness, and the concentration of right mindfulness and clear awareness. Within the four places of mindfulness, there are methods that need to be practiced, that is, the four places of mindfulness on the four places of mindfulness, the method of mindfulness of body performance. The method of mindfulness of body performance is the last method of the class of right mindfulness. The result of this method is that the 7 limbs, or factors of enlightenment, appear one after another. When the last limb of enlightenment appears, we have completed the 4 sufficiencies. When we have had the 4 sufficiencies, the entering of the 4 concentrations is not difficult, not tiring, and does not waste energy. If we practice as above mentioned, we will definitely be able to master our life, aging, sickness, and death, and put an end to rebirth without difficulty and tiredness. Anyway, you should remember the teaching of the Buddha in the Akanpheya, or Wish, Sutta. To enter the 4 noble concentrations and carry out the 3 insights, you have to strictly keep the precepts. Without any minor error, you can enter the 4 noble concentrations and carry out the 3 insights, without difficulty, without tiredness. With the above teaching of the Buddha, you should not worry that you cannot enter the 4 noble concentrations and carry out the 3 insights. We are only afraid that you do not live in accordance with the precepts. But if you live exactly in accordance with the precepts, there would definitely be no difficulty. Be perseverant to move forward. The path of liberation is waiting for you. Thank you for joining this journey with True Buddhism today. Hope you all live without creating sufferings to yourselves, to others, and to all living beings. A regular mindfulness reminder: the mind is peaceful, blissful, and carefree. See you again in the next episode.